Capital Hoops. Today, I'm joined by Georgetown Prep head coach Howard Blue. Coach, we appreciate you jumping on with me. I know being a high school basketball coach right now, there's no playbook on how to handle everything. Obviously, you got recruiting going on. You got, keeping tabs on your own guys. But just want to check in with you and kind of see how Georgetown Prep is handling all of this.
I appreciate it, Mark. It's definitely a strange time. We're trying our best to stay connected to our guys as best we can, even some of the incoming freshman class in 24. I've been inviting them. We've connected with our guys twice a week at least as a whole group. Do Tuesdays and Thursdays, team meetings, and try to get a good workout in together on Zoom. So that's been great to try to stay connected and make sure those guys know that we're around for them.
So when you say a team workout on Zoom, like everyone sets their phone up on the ground and everyone kind of does stuff in unison?
And we get after it. Yeah, we give them a set to do. We call it out. They do it. Coaches pick a handful of kids and we watch as many of them as we can. Today we had, I think today we had 4 coaches, 28 people on the Zoom. So 24 players throughout the program were there. Invited a couple. Last time we had a couple of alums, so a couple of alums there. So we're trying to make sure that we have the same feel as if the gym was still open.
Nice. And tell me about how is recruiting going? Like, how much recruiting was finished prior to COVID? And are there any? Are you still pursuing some 8th graders or transfers? And what was the time frame with that?
For us, man, I think we had our incoming freshmen make their decisions the week before all this stuff started happening. And we got on our targets. I'll say we got on our targets early, and they stayed committed with us through the process, and we were able to land the kids that we thought were good fits for our community at the school. And I'm pretty excited about this class we have coming in. I'll match this. I'll be willing to match this 24 class up with anybody in our area for sure, and hopefully one day with the whole country.
Are you able to talk about any of these kids, or is this public information?
I mean, I think the kids have made it public information on their Instagram and Twitters and stuff. We obviously have some kids who are coming in that we're excited about that we didn't actually recruit, so to speak. But right. I'm excited about Gob Cody, Kanai Roos, RJ Stewart, Lee Bruner. We got a kid, Greg Lomax, coming in, and a lot of these guys are going to be really good players soon.
How has your coaching prior to prep and all the relationships at the middle school level, how have you been able to kind of parlay that into being a good recruiter at Georgetown Prep?
So far it was pretty seamless, for the simple fact that I knew a lot of the kids that are coming up. Had a good eye on particularly Kanai. Was able to work with him for 2 years before. And there's always kids that we would bring down to the gym. And when I was at WJA, we didn't just work out the guys at WJA. We always told those guys to invite their teammates down from their AAU programs and just other kids in their neighborhood they thought would want to put the type of work we were putting in. So I got to know a lot of kids in the next couple classes, and a lot of families in the next couple classes coming up. And to be honest, I have a great coaching staff in the sense of their connection to the area. Eric, EJ Johnson, and Chase Smith, they know this area like the back of their hand, and they tell me about new kids every day, and then they know a lot of the coaches well. So it was a pretty seamless transition for me in terms of that. But I have to give a lot of credit to EJ and Chase in terms of the recruiting part.
Coach, tell me a little bit about who you've got coming back this year. I know Llewellyn graduated, right?
Yeah, we lost Llewellyn. We lost Quentin Southall and J.B. Strachan. We lost, and we had a kid, Patrick Gall, provided a lot of energy for us. But coming back, we're bringing back 2-3 starters. Bryce Sewell, he played 27 minutes a game at the point guard spot as a sophomore. So bringing him back will be great. Steph and Marcel. Steph is going to be I think he's going to be a tremendous player. He's a sophomore, about 6'7". He's growing, and he was hitting the weights hard before this happened. But he's going to be a really good player for us. Matt Akers played about 22 minutes a game as a junior. Another 6'7", big body. And then we have our sophomore class rounds out with AJ. AJ Thomas, who's a sharpshooter, becoming a better defender and ball handler. And then I hope one day we'll be talking about Trayvon Marshall as one of the best on-ball defenders in the area. And that sophomore class is going to be, or that rising junior class is going to be pretty good down the line. And then we had a player that spent a lot of time this year hurt that'll help with the ball handling duties, Emeka Blanchard. I think he's going to be a really good player. If we can get him to stay healthy athletically, he's pretty good and will help us match up with some of these tough guards in the IAC.
Let's talk about this past season at Georgetown Prep. Probably safe to say it didn't go how you had hoped or how you had planned, but I'm just curious to kind of get your take on this past season.
It was tough in terms of wins and losses. I expected us to do a little bit better. Unfortunately, we lost a player going into the season. And we had a lot of guys whose roles had to shift 8 days out from our first game. And that was tough on those guys. But in terms of what our team looked like on paper, I was actually pretty satisfied with our guys, especially when I was able over this spring break when we obviously had this coronavirus situation. I was kind of stuck in the house. I put myself through a little exercise where I instead of binge watching something on Netflix, I binge watched our entire season from start to finish. Didn't do any fast forwarding or rewinding. Just watched the game like I was watching a team on TV. And to be honest, it was very therapeutic. I was able to see how much better our team was from November 29th to our last game of the season. Even though that last game didn't end the way that we would have wanted to. The style of play, the cohesion within those guys, and even just the skill for our players and the effort was through the roof in comparison. So even though we didn't come out with the win-loss record that I thought we could have, we got better. And I think if you went down to the end of the season, I think our league actually probably thought we had an outside chance of making some noise in the playoffs. We weren't an easy out for anyone. So I was actually pleasantly surprised with our guys. Winning isn't the barometer for us, but it definitely is a nice thing to be able to hang your hat on. But I think if you look at how many guys we had returning with experience, our best player this year in terms of accolades played 33 minutes the year before, and I think he probably deserved to play a little bit more as a junior, but it is what it is. He came into the season with very little experience, and he was our team captain. He led us in scoring. I'm talking about Mark Llewellyn here.
Yep.
He led us in scoring. Usually drew the other team's best perimeter defender for most of the season. And I think that's the fact that he was able to be an all-league player at the end of this, and he gave us we had a fighting chance in almost every game. I think that was a pretty good step in the right direction for our program.
Talk to me about the challenges this summer. I mean, no one really knows what's going to happen with Summer League, with DMV Live, with team camps, with all these other, these opportunities where you could work with the guys, especially the new talent, and try to incorporate them in. I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
I'm nervous, afraid, heartbroken for these guys. Just because we don't know how to tell them how to prepare for this. I'm trying my best to figure out is what I can in terms of the landscape of recruiting, because this is opportunities for these guys, and we're here to try to help them get to the next level, whether that's in school and in sports. So not being able to tell these guys how to handle these next couple weeks, because we can't handle it the same way we did last year, and trying to get them to understand that we're going to do the best that we can is a little nerve-wracking, just because no one's ever seen this before. We were counting on the DMV Live. That was a major opportunity for us on our calendar. We weren't even considering not doing it. So being able to tell our guys that we're going to do that for 2 weekends, it got them excited, and for that not to be the case right now, or not to be able to tell them that's definitely going to happen right now, it's tough. Tomorrow and Friday, I'm on a Zoom call with some college coaches just to see what they think about the recruiting landscape in the light of things, to try to see if we can prepare for however we can. We're doing different exercises with our players in terms of looking at game film and asking them to rate the quality of their play and choose which games they thought were good representations of them as players. And that'll help us going forward into next season as well, but to try to help them start having a role to play in this recruiting piece as we start to try to get their names and footage in front of college coaches.
How was your first year as head coach? Obviously, you have a lot of head coaching experience, but how was the high school game different for you compared to how you thought it would be and compared to how it was as a middle school coach?
The level of preparation that the teams put in was definitely a little different. Knowing the scouting reports for other teams and accepting that the other teams knew the scouting report for us, that was a challenge. But in terms of the speed, it wasn't much different. I think the biggest challenge was just the day-to-day preparation. One thing that is hard to explain to people is how much harder it is to practice every day. How much harder it is to go to school all day long and see the kids in their school uniforms all day long, and then an hour after school is over, expect them to be ready to flip the switch and go as hard as they can in practice, and managing their expectations as young men compared to all the stuff they have going on around them all day long. I would say that was the biggest challenge, and just knowing that more time just equals more responsibility, and having these guys for 6 days a week, including game days, that was a challenge to adjust to.
Do you feel like there's anything that you need to improve upon as a coach? Like if you had to grade yourself in year one, how would you grade yourself? Aside from the wins and losses.
Yeah, I think the ability to move on to the next play, the next game. That part was hard for me because it's the idea of teaching is as the most important part of the game is what I always hung my hat on. And at this level, with the quality of coaches and the quality of players and the speed of the game, almost everybody's trying to play fast. I'm lucky we have a shot clock in our area, but that's something that I recognized it toward the end of the season. I had to do better. Can do more teaching and practice than in the games, that probably was the thing that I think hurt our players the most, coaching them this year, and something that I took to heart over the course of the season, got better at towards the end of the season, and would like to make sure that I get better at going forward.
Cool. Well, I think that's all I got for you.
Okay.
It's been great catching up with you. I've enjoyed getting to know you well over the past year, and I wish you nothing but success. I know these are kind of difficult times, but I'm sure you got everything under control over there. And
I try my best to. I hope you can hear me well, man. It's loud in the house with all the kids, so I tried to use the microphone to try to shield some of the noise for you.
Yeah, I hear you just fine. And again, I appreciate you taking a little time away from the family to catch up with me, and I look forward to seeing you in person once the corona decides to make its way out.
Yeah, I hope so, man. Thank you very much, Mark.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it, Coach. Good to see you, and I'll see you soon.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
All right.